Often depicted with a jackal's head, Anubis is the afterlife, funeral, and mummification god, who rules an astral dimension where he cares for all the souls who end up there after death. With Isis, Osiris fathered sun god Horus, and with Nephthys, who had no children with her husband, Seth, he fathered Anubis, god of funeral rites. Largely worshipped by the Nile River Valley's inhabitants, the Ennead ruled from the city Heliopolis known as the City of the Sun, near modern-day Ain Shams, Egypt. As part of the Ennead, or the Egyptian gods, Anubis ceases aging at adulthood and cannot die by conventional means. He is resistant to conventional diseases and injury, and has superhuman healing, endurance, and reflexes. Only dispersal of a major portion of his bodily molecules will cause death, and even then, resurrection via other gods may be possible. His flesh and bone is 2.5 times denser than human tissue, and he can lift at least 30 tons. Many Ennead possess additional superhuman powers, and most are skilled therianthropes, able to shift from humanoid form into the animal form that is most sacred to them. Most prefer to manifest in a theriocephalous form with a humanoid body and an animal head. Anubis can manipulate energy, projecting it from his body as beams, and can grant powers to the living and non-living objects. He can also teleport across realms and is an expert combatant without his powers. Seth, the god of death, slays Anubis' father Osiris, and in turn Anubis forms an alliance with his family members to resurrect the fallen god. Anubis empowers Silas Warden, transforming him into Mindstar, in exchange for help in finding an escaped soul, though Mindstar betrays him. He also enlists the son of Satan, Daimon Hellstrom, aka Hellstorm, who is only an enemy by circumstance. Kaith is Anubis' familiar who does things for Anubis, like taking important artifacts. The spirit Nephthys, like many other souls, are in his care within his realm. Anubis makes deals with several allies, including the ancient Nkantu, aka Living Mummy, and the Egyptian god Khonshu's agent and mercenary Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight. He also transforms Brett Carson into a beast, using him for his own ends, but returns him to his human form. Seth eventually murdered Osiris in his attempt to take control of celestial Heliopolis, locking him in a coffin and later scattering pieces of him throughout Egypt. Anubis, Isis, Nephthys, and Horus combined their powers to regather and resurrect Osiris, who then dispatched Horus to exact vengeance upon Seth. Anubis later made a pact with real estate agent Silas Warden. If he gave him power to become Mindstar, he would have to find and return a soul, one who had been placed in his care 1,000 years ago, escaped, and eluded his capture by inhabiting others, staying one step ahead of the god. Though Mindstar betrayed him and protected himself with a thrice-cursed talisman, an Ankh, but Anubis was prepared. With a red gemstone, Anubis transformed student Brett Carson into an awesome beast and unleashed it upon Hellstorm, keeping him busy as Anubis attacked Mindstar. Anubis soon revealed why he was after them both. Mindstar had attacked and killed the soul Anubis sought. Anubis thought that Mindstar betrayed him, and that the soul was within Hellstorm. But Anubis had set a trap, and they all fell into it. Quite literally, their astral bodies were sucked into a mirror that dropped them into his astral dimension. After Anubis went in after them, the mirror shattered. They entered Anubis' palace of death and rebirth. Now that Mindstar's astral form did not possess the protective talisman, Anubis saw through his lies about Hellstorm and the truth that Mindstar killed the soul he was after, who possessed District University student Michael Tain. Anubis nearly dispelled his wrath until Hellstorm stopped him and offered to defeat Mindstar to re-imprison him in a useless physical shell, as punishment for his wrongdoing. They battled, and when Prophet interrupted them, Mindstar blasted him to the ground. Rage-filled Hellstorm finished off Mindstar and consumed his power. Anubis returned him to the body of Silas Warden, and the student whom he used as a pawn was returned. Anubis then allowed Hellstorm to return to his earthly realm. Anubis' preserved body was then uncovered by Sir Reginald Thompson and Dr. Lionel Humphreys. Thompson accidentally brought forth Anubis, who took over his body. When the spirit of Nephthys was taken from Anubis' realm by the living mummy, who wanted Nephthys to help him die, Anubis appeared, sensing that the spirit had been taken. Meanwhile, Kaith, Anubis' familiar, attempted to take the orb of Ra. Anubis agreed to help Nkantu perish, but only if he became his agent to collect souls. Nkantu agreed. When dogs on Earth were being controlled by a maniac, Anubis asked Moon Knight for his help in stopping him. Moon Knight did so and promised that Khonshu would watch over them.